Okay, welcome everyone. It's the top of the hour, so we're going to get started. Welcome to today's webinar, Getting the Most Out of ServiceNow and Opsgenie. My name is Sean Pinney. I'm the Director of Product Marketing here, and I'm joined by John Meyer. John, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for joining and thanks for co-hosting. So we'll get right into it, guys. We've got a good crowd joining on the line, so I appreciate you guys joining us. So as always, we like to keep these as as two-way conversation as we possibly can. So 99% of this is going to be John showing us a lot of good, different ways to use and integrate with ServiceNow and Opsgenie, and also customizing those in different, plays you can use to get the most out of the integration. So if you're watching what he's doing, thinking about your own integration with ServiceNow, or you're thinking about getting set up with the Opsgenie ServiceNow integration, please ask us questions. There's a chat box in the GoToWebinar window, and no questions too technical. Either we'll answer it on the call here today, or we can definitely take them offline too if they need more follow-up. One thing I am curious to know is, who are you actively using the ServiceNow and Opsgenie integration, or are you looking to start? So if I put this poll on the screen, this helps us kind of color the presentation a little bit. If you could vote, that'd be awesome, just to kind of get a sense of like, yep, I'm already using it. Okay, so it looks like it's a pretty good split. I feel like a bunch of people actually looking to get started with it, so that's awesome. So we can definitely help you, and that's all we really care about, helping our partners and customers get set up with their integrations. So thank you for voting there, and I'll close that and go back to the presentation. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to get right into it. This is all about automating and customizing your incident response with ServiceNow. With the bidirectional integration, it's a pretty cool tool to be able, on the ITSM side, that we have with Opsgenie, and Opsgenie being a certified app in the ServiceNow store, to be able to notify the right people, to be able to respond and kind of ensure that information on alerts and everything you're doing is synced in both directions. And we've got a few different scenarios here that I think John sees when he talks to a lot of our customers. So folks just like you who are heavy ServiceNow customers, and that's what we're going to dive into today. So hopefully you guys can take notes, and please let us know how we can customize this to your own use cases, so we make it as useful as we possibly can. So that's it. I'm going to shut up for now. I'm going to switch it over to John here, and we will get started. So let me give you control, John. Okay, that should pop up. Great, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you, Sean. So during today's webinar, I'm going to go show you a few different things that you can do with the ServiceNow integration with Opsgenie. So let me go over to the integrations page here and just show you what our integration looks like. So I'm just going to pull up one we have set up here. So the integration with ServiceNow that we have is bidirectional, meaning we can communicate in both ways to ServiceNow and from ServiceNow. So you can have your Opsgenie alerts create ServiceNow incidents, and then have any updates on either end pushed back to the other tool. And you can also have your ServiceNow incidents create Opsgenie alerts to notify your Opsgenie teams. And then again, any updates that are taken on any end will update the other tool. And what's unique about our ServiceNow integration is we do have a neat feature that we call action mapping. So you can actually, just using a GUI, say if this happens in Opsgenie, if any action happens in Opsgenie, you can set a corresponding action in ServiceNow. So as you can see here, we're saying if the alert is acknowledged in Opsgenie, then we want to add it as a work note in ServiceNow. And you also have the following options: resolve the incident, close the incident, create an incident, send to a custom endpoint, or assign the incident to the user. So some of the things that we see pretty often are, these are the three default options, acknowledging, closing, and adding notes. You can add additional actions here and say maybe you want, when the Opsgenie alert is assigned to somebody, maybe you want that to that user to be assigned the alert within ServiceNow. You can certainly do that as well. So maybe you want to say if a user takes ownership of the alert, then assign that incident to the user within ServiceNow. You can also say maybe you want the acknowledgement in Opsgenie to resolve the incident in ServiceNow. you can set that up just as you please, all using this GUI right here. So all the actions, mapping them is very, very easy to set up. And as I said previously, again, any action taken on one end is reciprocated on the other. So it's nice you don't have to log into multiple platforms to take the same action. So if you add a note in ServiceNow, we're going to add that to the Opsgenie alert and vice versa. So now let me take you into the Opsgenie application within ServiceNow. So our application, it can be installed from the ServiceNow store. Just search for Opsgenie and you can download it. And once you download it, you'll see the following options for the configurations within ServiceNow. Fairly straight to set up. We want to first set up the API key here from the Opsgenie integration. So you're just going to copy and paste that here. And then really that's all that's required on the ServiceNow end. You do have to set up an Opsgenie ServiceNow user, but that is in our support guide, which is pretty straightforward to do. But as you see here on the left-hand side, we do have the following web services that have been created now within ServiceNow. And these are what are going to help us take action in ServiceNow. So we have a different web service for all the following actions: creating an incident, closing and resolving an incident, assigning a user, assigning a group, and adding a work note. And within all of these services, we have what we call transform maps, which allow you to customize what that action is actually doing. So if we take a look here at the Opsgenie web service, if you scroll down, you can see we have this web service transform map. And then we can click into this to see exactly how ServiceNow is creating that incident within how that Opsgenie alert is being transformed into a ServiceNow incident. And all this is fully customizable, and this gives you the power to assign different Opsgenie alert properties to your ServiceNow fields that you have set up within your incident tickets. So that means that, by default, the Opsgenie alert, when it creates an incident, all we're really filling out are the short description, the description field, and the assignment group by default, since those are really the only things that are always in an Opsgenie alert. What you can do is go a bit further, and you can inherit the Opsgenie extra properties that you set up and set those to certain fields. And for example, here I have a configuration item that I've configured. All I'm really doing here in this script is I'm saying, go to the Opsgenie alert and look for the extra property that I've called configuration item. And then from there, we want to find the sysid in ServiceNow for that configuration item and set that configuration item within the ServiceNow incident ticket. And this can be configured for, again, all of your other ServiceNow fields. And I have built a template for this. So if you would like an easier to read version of this after the webinar, just feel free to reach out to me and I can provide that to you. So it's really just a drag and drop sort of thing for this template.
Yeah, but John, just to clarify for that, you want them to just email you, John@Opsgenie?
Correct. Yes, my email is just John, john@opsgenie.com, and I can provide you a template for this web service here.
Cool.
So following along here, what we're really doing, what we're adding on to the integration right now is we're taking that configuration item extra property from the Opsgenie alert, and we're assigning the ServiceNow configuration item. And then what we're also doing is we're taking the Opsgenie team that is configured, and we're checking to see if there is a corresponding ServiceNow assignment group set up. So if there is, we are setting that assignment group to that appropriate team name. And this is actually in the script by default. So that is one of the default functions already, is it looks for the Opsgenie team name as an assignment group. And if it is, then it assigns that ticket to that assignment group. So to test this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an Opsgenie alert with a configuration item in there. And we are going to see that that should map to the corresponding configuration item in ServiceNow. So now I'm going to go back to Opsgenie. I'm going to create an alert. I'm just going to create an alert message saying something is down. I'm going to assign this to our ITSM engineering team. I'll set the priority to 2. Then I'm going to go here. I'm going to add a description for the alert. Something is down. Please take a look. And now what I'm going to do is you can do this within your integration. So for example, if you use Nagios, Datadog, Splunk, you can configure extra properties within your integrations. I'm just going to manually assign one here and call it configuration item. And then I'm going to give that the value asset IBM, since that will be the affected configuration item. So now I've added that extra property, and I'm going to go ahead and create the Opsgenie alert. All right, so here is the Opsgenie alert here that has been created. Once an Opsgenie alert creates a ServiceNow ticket, we automatically include the SysID for that particular incident, as well as the ServiceNow incident number and a link to the incident. So there's no need to go into ServiceNow to track down that incident that was just created. If it was successfully created, that link and incident number will be posted here. So I'm going to click on this incident link to view the incident. And as we can see, that configuration item that we did have set up, the asset IBM CI, that is automatically propagated over to ServiceNow. And as you can also see, we assigned the Opsgenie alert to the ITSM engineering team. It looks like that assignment group was properly set within ServiceNow. So any of these fields that we have set up here, the caller subcategory, if we wanted to, we could easily just go into this web service here, add in this same exact code to say, go back to Opsgenie and look for this certain field and set that to the subcategory caller. That is indeed possible, and that's what many of our customers do that integrate with ServiceNow. So what I'm going to do here is, again, as I said, the integration is fully bidirectional. So no matter where an action happens, it is automatically propagated back to the other tool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a work note, and I'm going to say, hey guys, I got this one, and I'm going to add that. Now if we go back to Opsgenie and we take a look at the notes section here, we give it a quick refresh. Just take a second. We can see that we have the note that was added from ServiceNow saying, hey guys, I got this one. So really in real time, everything is kept up to date. And I'm going to go the other way now. I'm going to add a note here, and I'm just going to say, thanks, John. And now that that note is added, we should have a corresponding work note saying, thanks, John, in ServiceNow. And as you can see, there's no need to refresh on the ServiceNow side. Everything is automatically propagated. So now if I'm working on the Opsgenie alert here, and I were to acknowledge it, I believe I have that set to add a work note in the integration. So as you can see within ServiceNow, we can see John Meyer acknowledged alert, something is down, and then a link to the alert. And then I believe I have the close action in Opsgenie configured to resolve the incident. So I'm going to close in Opsgenie. And as you can see, the state has changed to resolved. So everything, again, is kept in sync with one another. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you the opposite way, having ServiceNow create Opsgenie alerts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to search for incidents. Incident. I'm going to create a new incident. I'm going to fill in the caller. I'll fill in the description. We can also map the priority coming from ServiceNow to Opsgenie, which is nice. That's done automatically. So I'm just going to set these both to P1s, or impact 1, urgency 1, which creates a priority of 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and create this. I think that's enough. Oh, we need knowledge source. So I'm going to submit this now. And if we go back to Opsgenie and do a quick refresh, as we can see, we got the incident coming from ServiceNow, creating an Opsgenie alert. We have the priority, which is properly mapped. So within Opsgenie, we have the priority set to P1. So if you wanted to do some additional routing logic to route based on priority 1, you could do that coming from ServiceNow. Again, we have the incident link directly linking back to ServiceNow. We have the state of the incident as well as the sysID. So now, going the opposite way, I'm going to add another note here. Please fix this. Going to do a quick refresh here. Might take a second. There we go. We got the note saying please fix this. And then I'll add one more note here saying will do. And that work note is added here. So now, previously we acknowledged and closed from Opsgenie. We can also go the opposite way. I believe I have the resolve action here mapped to close the Opsgenie alert. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to fill out this resolution code and say resolved. And now I will resolve this. And if we go back to Opsgenie and do a quick refresh, we can see that this alert is now closed. And we have the close code and close notes coming over to Opsgenie as well. So as you can see, again, everything is kept in sync with one another. And within the activity log, you can actually see a full audit trail of everything that happened, and you can actually see that the alert was closed via ServiceNow. So now I want to get a bit more advanced and show you some additional things that you can do coming from ServiceNow to Opsgenie. So if we go in here and create a new incident, I'm going to set Abraham Lincoln as the caller. And here I'm going to say something is down yet again. I'm going to give it set the assignment group to ITSM engineering. And I'm also going to set the configuration item to asset IBM. Now, say you wanted to route using this configuration item. Within Opsgenie, you can add in logic that says, if the configuration item is asset IBM, then maybe I want to use a different escalation within a team. You can certainly do that. So let me pull up that ITSM engineering team that we have set up. So here's the team that we have set up here. And as you can see here, we added in additional logic. We added a routing rule within that team. So the routing rule says if the alert matches the following conditions, if the configuration item in the incident, or sorry, in the Opsgenie alert contains asset IBM, then route using our IBM asset escalation. So this isn't going to use our default escalation, which is alert every 0, 5, and 10 minutes. This one is going to be a bit more aggressive and route to different people in each step. So as you can see, using this escalation, we're going to notify the on-call users after right away, myself after 2 minutes, Kevin Davis after 4 minutes, and all members of the ITSM engineering team after 6 minutes. So using that CI, we can route to a completely different escalation within Opsgenie. So I'm going to go ahead and create this incident here, and also set it to, we'll keep it as P5 for now. And let me go ahead and set the knowledge source field. Give it a second to show up. All right, so we have the alert created in Opsgenie. And again, all the fields were passed over. We have the priority set to P5. And as you can see now, we also have that configuration item set to asset IBM. So now in that ITSM engineering group, it's going to utilize that ITSM, that asset IBM escalation. And again, from here, I'm just going to go ahead and add another note saying, thank you, got this one. If we go to the notes, we can see that that was automatically propagated back. We can go ahead and acknowledge here. And as you can see, it's added as a work note. And I'm going to go ahead and close this, which should set the state to resolved. All right. Yeah, so it looks like that properly set the state to resolved, and that one is now closed down. So that is really, at a high level, what the Opsgenie integration does. Again, everything is kept in sync with one another, and using these web services on the left-hand side here, you can customize what each of those does to really make your integration with Opsgenie and ServiceNow a bit more advanced and a bit more informational. I think now would be a good time to stop and ask for questions. If anyone has any questions regarding how this is done or how any of the features work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. And when John, when you're working with customers with ServiceNow, are there any gotchas or specific things that you're constantly reminding them about, or things that the audience here today would want to know up front? Because I think the majority of them, when we asked, were thinking about getting set up. So just in terms of things to avoid or things to remember above and beyond what you just showed.
Sure thing. That's a very good question. Many of our customers, when integrating Opsgenie and ServiceNow, many of them have mandatory fields that are required to create an incident. So if you don't take any action and you just try and set the description, the short description, and the assignment group, that incident in ServiceNow will not be created since the required fields are not set up. So you have two different options there. You can go into this create web service that we're looking at here and make sure that you're setting those fields in this script. Or what you can do is we have an option here that says enforce mandatory fields. If this is set to no, then the incident will still be created without setting those mandatory fields. Okay. Else, if you have this set to all, then it will require you to fill out every single ServiceNow field for that incident to be created.
Gotcha. Cool. And Nathan's got a question. How do we ensure API transport encryption between ServiceNow and Opsgenie?
That is something we may have to take offline. I can speak to the integrations team that built the ServiceNow integration, and we can get back to you, Nathan, for a better answer on that.
Okay. Nathan, we'll follow up offline, and we'll make sure we get back to you. Anyone else have any questions? Now's a good time to ask. In the meantime, here, let me just take back control. So thanks, John. Show my screen here. Yeah, so in terms of next steps, I think getting integrated, or setting up the integration if you don't already have it. And John and the team are available. If you already have it integrated, but you want to kind of fine tune it, we're happy to help. So there's a link to the ServiceNow Opsgenie integration documentation page, which has lots of useful information. We're going to put this webinar on there as well, so you have a recording of it. We're also going to email it out. But if you have questions, you can contact us for success at any time. And also, like John mentioned at the top, if you want the scripts that he used to kind of set some of this stuff up, you can email him and he can send you a text file, John at Opsgenie. We're happy to help in that regard too. So let me just check one last time. Last call for questions. Looks like we don't have anything else for the moment. So that's cool. So that's great. So again, yeah, chat with us anytime in the in-app or on the website. Bottom right corner, there's a little chat box. We're happy to help. And with that, we will we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you very much for joining, and we will see you in the next webinar. Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.